Vanuatu president fears the very worst as cyclone death toll rises.
This is the GAP News with Gary Pendlebury.
President Vanuatu said he fears the very worst impact from a devastating tropical storm in the isolated outer Pacific Islands, but damage was still being assessed. Also this evening, Chancellor to extend pension freedoms in budget. Lewis Hamilton wins Australian Grand Prix. And Mouth of Hell bus station demolished. Good evening. The president of the devastated country of Vanuatu says he fears that the most of the population is now homeless after Cyclone Pam ripped through the South Pacific Islands. The full scale of the destruction is still emerging, and many of the smaller outlying communities are yet to be reached. The first aid planes are now arriving as officials begin the vast relief operation. Australia sent 2 military aircraft, including one with medical experts, search and rescue teams, and emergency supplies. The country has promised $5 million in aid to Vanuatu, while New Zealand has pledged $2.5 million and Britain up to £2 million. George Osborne is set to allow pensioners with existing annuities the right to cash them in from April 2016 in next week's budget. The reforms would give up to 5 million pensioners the opportunity to assess their retirement funds. Chancellor George said that the difficult decisions still need to be made to ensure Britain's economy becomes more balanced. We still have to make decisions because we are still running a 5% budget deficit, he told the Andrew Marr Show. Asked about deep cuts in the next Parliament, he said, "Our argument is that we have to run a surplus in the good years. You have to mend the roof in the sun. You can't have great public services unless you have a strong economy. We have set out 5 years of plans and we have 2 more years after that." On the suggestion of a deal with UKIP, he said, "It is total nonsense. Voting for Nigel Farage makes Ed Miliband a likely Prime Minister. Nigel Farage is not going to win seats in the House of Commons." Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton won the season-opening Australian Grand Prix in a perfect start for his Formula One World Championship defence. Starting from pole position at Albert Park, the British driver led a Mercedes 1-2 for the top 2 podium spots and crossed the line 1.3 seconds ahead of German teammate Nico Rosberg. Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel was 3rd. And finally, Northampton's bus station, described as the Mouth of Hell by broadcaster Kevin MacLeod, was demolished today. More than 1,300 people watched it fall as it was live streamed online after Northampton Borough Council pleaded with spectators not to watch it in person. Greyfriars bus station was an example of brutalist architecture and was described in the Lonely Planet guide as infamously ugly. In 2005 it became 3rd in a list of 12 buildings that should be demolished, voted by the public for Channel 4 series Demolition. David McIntosh, leader of Northampton Borough Council, said, "It's funny because in the last couple of months people have said, we will miss it. It's not very well liked and is now redundant. The Mouth of Hell sums it up perfectly." The 3-storey building, which includes a car park and offices which have not been used for years, was reduced to rubble by demolition specialist DSM. The 4-acre site takes up a large part of the town centre and the council set up an exclusion zone and evacuated 414 nearby homes as a precaution. The council said the structure is costing taxpayers £500,000 in repairs every year, and it would take almost £30 million to renovate. Its demolition is part of Northampton's regeneration programme. And that is it from me and the team here. Good night.